All of our viewers on Synergy TV, all of our viewers on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, all of our listeners on you, each and every one of you, a terrific day today. It's a rainy day in Trinidad and Tobago, and happy Tuesday, the 29th of August 2023. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. That someone special. Let's quickly go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. And our quote says, patience, persistence and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. That came to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. They are located now in La Romaine. Let's get that up quickly. Behind KFC in La Romaine. Check them out today. Special deals, food court, play area, wonderful, safe and secure parking, not forgetting all of the nice food, street food from India that you could experience here in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to say our program this morning, thank you Hisham, our program this morning coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited, with 4 locations throughout the country, and you can WhatsApp your message to 3679368. Get that up please, 3679368. Write it, store it as Dr. Nicholas Mirage. Now Dr. Nicholas Mirage is joining us this morning. Dr. Mirage is the medical director of Synapse Medical Services Limited. It is important to understand he is a trained, UK trained specialist in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. Important for you to know this. These are his strengths. Trained, certified, UK and Canada as well. Alright? And of course, for messages, send your WhatsApp messages for an appointment to 3679368 and someone will respond, find out where you're located and see which office will be best suitable for you. Good morning and a warm welcome. It's always nice having you, Doc, and I'll tell you why. Because not only am I enriched after your program, your segment, with your knowledge, but the calls that I get and messages, and I'm happy to know that people now reach out and could get some help, get started to anew and improve.
It is my pleasure to be here, Zelisa, to try and be able to impart this knowledge on the patients and people of Trinidad and to try to help them in any way that I could.
Yeah, and you know, we also have, it's important that our, we know that we do have the regional and international listeners. So if you will live in any one of the islands and you're coming to Trinidad and you need to see Dr. Mirage, all you need to do is WhatsApp that message that we, that number that we keep sharing, and when you're in Trinidad, you could get to visit Dr. Mirage, right? So that's important for you to know as well. Now today you're going to touch on a topic that's very sensitive in the sense that it's sad at some times, but it's important to recognize and understand. We understand what it is. We know how to treat and deal with it. We look out for some of the signs so that prevention is better than cure. And today you're talking about Alzheimer's disease. Now, I am going to allow you to give us first a definition exactly of what is this disease.
So, Alzheimer's disease is itself a type of dementia. So what is a dementia? A dementia is a chronic, progressive, debilitating neurological condition affecting your thinking to the extent that it hampers your everyday functioning. And when I say it's chronic, it means it happens over a period of time. It just doesn't happen like that. It's progressive.
Ah,
It gets worse with time.
yeah.
It's a disorder of thinking, and there are many different aspects of thinking. The most common one that people associated with dementia and Alzheimer's is memory, but it also encompasses things like personality, planning, language, understanding, as well as planning. And it affects your daily functioning to the extent that what you're usually able to do, maybe go on your shopping trips, purchase your groceries, maybe make your own food, handle the telephone, commit to your own job, those things could be affected as well.
Now, why I am so passionate about this particular topic, Doc, and I'll tell you. You know, being on radio, especially when I am on radio, and I don't know if it is because of the connection that I have with listeners, with the music that we play, so people now relate and connect. And so with that, they tend to share their personal feelings, looking for someone to relate to talk to listen to them. So over the years, you build relationships with your listeners who you never perhaps ever see in life, but you get to talk to them.
Correct.
One of the things that I know that I would have had numerous calls on over the years of my experience on radio is people calling and expressing their concern, especially when they have to take care of their loved ones suffering from Alzheimer's disease, meaning difficult for them to understand that that loved one cannot remember them, cannot remember family members, cannot remember a song, cannot remember things. It's now for the individual, I could just imagine the confused state of mind. And you will help us understand that, because it's important we understand. But what is important is that today I want you to reach out to the loved ones as well, because it's extremely difficult for someone, especially a mother or father, cannot recognize in a child. And not only that, sometimes their whole disposition, their whole attitude changes, and you're wondering, is this the same person I've been dealing with over the years? Is this my mother? Is this my father? Is this my wife? Is this my husband? You know, it's difficult. So today it's a sensitive topic, but it's one that's strong, and it's important for us to understand how to deal, how to cope, how to look at the signs. As you say, it's not something that happens like that.
No.
It takes time. So perhaps if we pay attention, and we notice certain things, we could nip it in the bud. We could make that WhatsApp message go through now, make that appointment, and start immediately to get help from you. That's so happy, and that is why I'm so passionate about it, because I feel it's going to reach out to lots of people who are hurting, who are in pain, and who do not know how to deal and cope.
That is one of the biggest things.
Yeah?
Not being able to cope with it.
So, Doc, the first thing I want you to, now you've identified what it is, you explained to us the meaning of it, what exactly it is. Let's look at signs and symptoms.
The most common thing that most people come and they ask about is they say that they're having trouble with their memory. And so you ask them, what do you have trouble with? They have trouble with, for example, forgetting their keys. They're repeating the same questions over and over again to their relatives. So they're the really, really bad red flag memory trouble, such as maybe leaving the pot of water on the stove, leaving the keys in the car and leaving the car on, leaving the doors open at night, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. Those are the red flags and the dangerous signs of memory trouble. Those are things that you should be concerned about. The simple things about people forgetting their keys, misplacing items here and there, those are disorders of like maybe attention and very simple short-term memory, and don't usually imply something like dementia. But the more dangerous things are things you should worry about, especially when they happen continuously, progressively, and become more common with time.
Dr. Miraj, what about people who tend to repeat themselves?
One of the most common symptoms of Alzheimer's
Yeah.
or dementia itself.
Yeah.
Family members continuously say, "Mommy, you asked me that like 3 times in the last 20 minutes." They continuously forget people's faces, people's names. So like, who is this person again? And Mommy, this is cousin X from down the road who we haven't seen in a bit. And then 10 minutes later, they're like, who's this person again? They're like, something's wrong here.
What about you're looking at the person, you know who the person is, but you're struggling to remember the name?
That could imply cognitive dysfunction. It could also imply certain patients with certain stroke type syndromes can have those. It could also be somebody who's absent-minded and just isn't good with names.
Right.
So if that's been that person's modus operandi for their entire life, I wouldn't be too worried about that. But if it represents a significant change from their usual behavior, that is something troublesome.
So your suggestion is the moment we recognize, hey, this person is repeating itself, this person is forgetting a lot of things, not recognizing certain people, like you say, certain different things that you would think. Who is this child? And it's a grandchild that you're accustomed.
Like, this doesn't make sense. Something's wrong.
It is important now to send that WhatsApp message, because we're talking about Alzheimer's disease. Prevention is better than cure. And it is important to get help immediately. And I'd like to have that number up as I indicated, please, Mr. Director. That number is 3679368. Send a WhatsApp message and someone will return with a message. They'll probably call you or send a message to you and identify which area would be best for you. 4 locations. Dr. Miraj can see you at his offices, okay?
One of the big ones that people have is getting lost. So people who are driving around and they go to an unfamiliar location that they haven't been to in a bit, and they get lost in terms of trying to plan where exactly they're going. That's a bit of a red flag. And so, for example, that's the driving population. But somebody who is like traveling to a location that they usually know and they get lost, that's a big one as well.
I think that's serious as well for drivers, Doc. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
It can be, especially how road rage is in Trinidad.
Yes. Good. So signs of, you just realize, wait, now you're driving and you don't know where you're going. Or you understand you're lost. Or you think you're lost. You're not lost, but you think you're lost.
You think you're lost.
Yeah, can't remember your way home. You get into a taxi, you're correct. Even for those who are not driving, you get into a taxi and the taxi is saying, where you going? And you go blank.
And you're a bit blank indeed. And you get lost. And that can be very dangerous, especially with the bit elderly population.
Right.
You hear the story that sometimes patients leave their home, they wander out, and they go traveling to somewhere because they're not living. Usually sometimes patients go, they're less frail ones. They go to live with their kids and they're accustomed living, like let's say somewhere else, a different part of the country for a number of years. And they wake up and they feel like this is not where I'm supposed to be. And they leave the house and they travel somewhere else and they get very lost.
Now, you talk about the elderly, but can you tell us about, at what age the earliest one could start seeing particularly signs?
So we typically say that so patients who are younger than 65, we say that they would have early onset dementia. Patients who are above 65, that's usually where the age range tends to start. And as patients get older, the risk of this tends to increase. But it's not that I've not seen this in younger patients.
I was about to ask, what's the youngest patient you've treated?
So
the age of the youngest?
So a special type of dementia called frontotemporal dementia can hit gentlemen in like their 40s.
Gentlemen in their 40s. We'll talk about that when we return. Reminding you, today we are in conversation with Dr. Nicholas Miraj. Dr. Miraj specializes in internal medicine and vascular neurology. Today he's talking to us about Alzheimer's disease. Reminding you, our program is coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited with 4 locations. For WhatsApp, if you want to get an appointment, please remember you can WhatsApp 367-9368, 367-9368. Now later on in the program today, I'll be opening up the telephone line, giving you the opportunity to call in and speak to Dr. Maraj one-on-one. But first, let's go to these important messages.
Have you been diagnosed with stroke, Parkinson's disease, dementia, or migraine headaches? Do you have weakness of your feet, hands, or face? Are you having trouble with your memory? Do you keep forgetting where you place your keys? Do your hands shake? Are your muscles stiff? Do you have bad headaches? Then the solution is Synapse Medical Services Limited. The consultant physician at Synapse Medical Services is a UK-trained specialist in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. To book an appointment now, WhatsApp 367-9368. That is 367-9368, and be on your way to a speedy recovery.
South Trinidad, here we come. Indian Style Expo is set to open on Friday 25th August until September 11th. Located behind KFC Laramine. One show only. Get everything under one roof. Fashionable Indian garments, jewelry, footwear, home decor, bed covers, curtains, western garments, handbags, and so much more. Enjoy delicious Indian food with Tandoori King, live dosas, and so much more. We've got food from all parts of India. You can also check us out for furniture that you've never seen before in Trinidad. One place where you can get it all. We're guaranteed variety you've never seen before. Indian Style Expo, located behind KFC Laramine, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're open on weekends and public holidays. Indian Style Expo, one place you must visit.
Super quality supermarket, best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Hoover Car Park, Hoover, 98 Endeavour Road, Chagonas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trincity. Super Quality Supermarket.
Are you ready to own your own home? But worried about time, money, and construction? We handle it all. With Docs, you can sleep in your dream. Make a down payment of $100K or $150K and we'll build a 2 or 3 bedroom home on your unused land. A home is an investment into your future, so let's help you invest wise, invest well. Payment plans available. We're only a call away.
Welcome to OATS, Optimal Alternative Treatment Solutions Limited, the future of healthcare, which provides full body scans which we detect and treat cancer, tumors, all heart conditions, cysts, fibroids, dementia, Parkinson's, just to name a few. No radiation and medication is not needed. If you are tired of getting no results, call us at 354-4459 or 356-7226.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. Reminding you our program today coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited. We are in conversation with Dr. Nicholas Maraj, who is a medical director, who is the medical director of Synapse Medical Services Limited. There are 4 locations. Now, Doc has been trained and certified, specialized in both UK and Canada. And, to get on to him, you can send a WhatsApp message, which is important, 367-9368, 367-9368. You can send a WhatsApp message. Today he's talking about Alzheimer's disease. And of course, as he indicated, some of the signs, some of the symptoms. Welcome back, Doc. And I'll tell you, some people say to me, it's like dealing with a complete stranger. These people curse, they spit on them, they beat them, they carry on. It's difficult, and what I try to say to them, look, I can only begin to imagine, because I've never dealt with someone personally with that situation. But what you need to be focused on, apart from getting now a solution to deal with it, like getting a WhatsApp message and getting to see you, you need to always remember that you know this person. Don't ever lose focus of that. So you know them, you love them, try to get help for them, you know?
The personality change or the behavioral change that happens in Alzheimer's is pretty terrible. So family members who nice, calm, cool as a cucumber for the entire period of time slowly, progressively becomes a bit snippy. They become more agitated with simple conversation. Things get a bit, time passes a bit more. They become a bit aggressive, verbally, physically. Sometimes they resort to spitting, cursing, attacking even some of their relatives.
Yeah. Now, we touched a little bit on, and I want to go back to the men at 40s, because I think that's important. But we did touch a little bit about how the caretakers or the children or the grandchildren feel, or friends and close friends and family and siblings and things, how they feel. But you will know one-on-one with regards to understanding how your patient feels. That person in that situation, are they confused? What is going on with them?
So in dementia,
are they aware of what's happening?
That's the thing. So it's a continuous battle that their short-term memory doesn't work, but their long-term memory tends to work. So they can remember their name,
right,
where they went to primary school, where they used to live when they were younger, some random event by some coconut tree many years ago. But they have trouble remembering things that happened this morning, what they had for breakfast, what they watched on television last night. They become confused as minutes turns into hours. So they become confused as, why am I here? Wasn't I somewhere else maybe an hour ago? But then in their mind, that might have been like 5-10 minutes. But so then they try to confabulate stories to make sense to them what's going on. The personality change happens when the frontal region of the brain becomes affected, and that's the area of the brain that's responsible for like behavior, and it can make them a lot less inhibited, so they become disinhibited. Social norms prevents us from talking about things that are more crass. So patients can become more, they start to talk about their political affiliations or their political ideologies. They become more sexually explicit.
Really?
Both in terms of verbalization as well as sometimes in voyeurism. It can become very troublesome and toxic for certain members of family. When it's that bad.
When clients or the public come to you, they make an appointment and they come to you, do you also, because I think that's very serious, do you, in part of your treatment plan, would you organize some sort of counseling for the family?
For both members preferentially.
Nice.
But if the person who has the dementia is capable of intaking that information, storing it and letting that wash into them, that may not be possible.
Right, okay.
But for their caregivers, those are the people who need that support, because there's something called caregiver burden, where patients' relatives who give up their time, their job, they sacrifice their own personal family life, their own health to take care of their relatives.
You're very correct there.
They need a lot of mental and psychological and emotional support, because what they're going through is definitely not easy.
It's not easy. I could only imagine. I want us to backtrack a little bit and go back to where you were talking, because I think that's important. Men in their 40s.
It's a specific type of dementia called frontotemporal dementia. Thankfully, it's not very common.
Okay.
But it's something to keep an eye out for. The Bruce Willis was diagnosed with it within the last year, and a lot of people approached me with it like, hey, my relative is being a bit disinhibited. He isn't who he used to be anymore. He's having a little memory trouble here and there, but his personality has definitely changed. You think this might be something you guys should take a look at and be like, definitely.
Yeah. Don't just think. Don't think about it. Act on it immediately.
Lots of people just say, you know, it's a midlife crisis kind of thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Is it a midlife? You know, because you say, yeah.
It could be. Most of the time, thankfully, it is. Sometimes, unfortunately, it isn't.
Yeah, but you're talking about a very young man in his 40s. You know what I mean?
Prime.
In your 40s, your prime. And having that situation, get help immediately. Prevention is better than cure. And I want to remind us that Dr. Nicholas Mirage is not just the medical director at Synapse Medical Services Limited. He is UK trained and specialized in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. So he specializes in these things. This is his strength. And when you are, you know, you've been diagnosed with something like this, especially our topic today, Alzheimer's disease, you act on it immediately. You don't wait a week. You don't wait a month. You don't wait 6 months. You don't wait a year, because it will get worse.
Unfortunately, that's what happens.
So you have to nip it in the bud. We're going to take some important messages. When we return, Doc, I'm going to open up the telephone line with your authorization.
Please
Questions, concerns, comments. You have a loved one, or you yourself recognize something is wrong and you need to talk to Dr. Mirage today. It is your opportunity to call in at 3847142. And for those on the radio, watching on the television, I ask you kindly, please, before you call, take the volume down on your television, take the volume down on your radio, then pick up the phone and call and speak to us, all right? Dr. Mirage will try his best to advise you accordingly. So if you have a loved one, or you yourself need some sort of advice, or you have, you've seen some kind of signs and symptoms and things like that, then this is your opportunity to get some sort of medical advice from an expert, not somebody who's fly-by-night, an expert with international training, all right? So let's go to these important messages, reminding you our program today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited. There are 4 locations. So when you make that WhatsApp message, you send that WhatsApp message to 3679368, and for those of you who are listening on the radio, if you're driving or you're at work, 3679368. When you make that WhatsApp, somebody will return and of course advise you which location will be suitable for you and easiest for you, all right? So let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation with Dr. Mirage, and we continue our topic, and we're going to open up the telephone line, giving you the opportunity to interact and ask your questions, your concerns when we return. Let's go to these important messages.
Have you been diagnosed with stroke, Parkinson's disease, dementia, or migraine headaches? Do you have weakness of your feet, hands, or face? Are you having trouble with your memory? Do you keep forgetting where you place your keys? Do your hands shake? Are your muscles stiff? Do you have bad headaches? Then the solution is Synapse Medical Services Limited. The consultant physician at Synapse Medical Services is a UK-trained specialist in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. To book an appointment now, WhatsApp 3679368. That is 3679368, and be on your way to a speedy recovery.
Sharon's Bookstore for all your school books, stationery items, uniforms, shoes, board games, toys, and much more. Visit them at any of their 3 branches located at 24 Eastern Main Road, Quezay, San Juan. Telephone number 675-9024 or 675-3607. 53 Eastern Main Road, Tunapuna, 663-1884, 663-1476, or 645-3878. Trin City Mall, Trin City, contact them at 640-3155.
Calm down.
Check out Sharon's Bookstore.
Tile Expression Limited, the #1 leader in tiles. Large stock, unbeatable prices, wide variety of porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles, wall and floor tiles, residential and commercial, granite and quartz countertops. Best quality from Spain, Italy, Brazil, India and China. Tile Expression Limited, conveniently located Monroe Road, Kunapir. Telephone 693-0015 or 223-TILE.
Lifetime Solutions, manufacturer of metal roofing, panels, framing, guttering, and related products. Located lot number 26, Omera Industrial Estate in Arima. Give us a call, 646-5813 for further information. Lifetime Solutions. Give us a call today.
Looking for an adventure? Then come to Massa Nature Park. There are scenic spaces for picnics, adults and kids swimming pools, apartments for rent, huts for cooking, liming, and beautiful nature trails for hikes. Business hours 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Conveniently located at Brasso, Vancouver. Contact us at 777-4531 or 335-0183. Let the fun begin.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. To all of our viewers on Synergy TV, all those of you on the Caribbean, Showtime Television in Canada, all of our listeners on U975 FM Multicultural Radio, thank you so much for sticking and staying with us as we continue to inform, educate, empower. Our program today coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited with 4 locations. WhatsApp messages 3679368, 3679368. You send your message, your WhatsApp message, your concern for an appointment as well. Someone will respond. All right. Reminding you that we are in conversation with Dr. Nicholas Maraj, who is the medical director of Synapse Medical Services Limited. He is a UK trained specialist in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. Today he is speaking to us about Alzheimer's disease. Doc, welcome back. And I would like to remind all of our listeners, all of our viewers, that you do have the opportunity to send WhatsApp messages now to us at 3847142. That's 3847142, or you can call in. Before you call in, whether you're listening to us on radio or looking at us on television, I ask you kindly to take the volume down on your radio, down on your television, then call and speak to Dr. Maraj. He will be more than happy to advise you accordingly. Reminding you that his topic today is Alzheimer's disease. So if you or your loved ones, your friends, your family, any sort of advice you need, guidelines, medical one, then all you need to do is give us a call. Dr. Maraj will be happy to guide you. Doc, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit, while we wait on such, I'd like us to talk a little bit about treatment.
Before we reach the treatment, you want to talk about how we kind of investigate these patients?
Sure, sir, most certainly.
So a typical consultation for memory loss or dementia, where a patient thinks it is, patients should, family members
Yeah.
must bring the patient in. The patient usually isn't able to come by themselves.
Alone, okay.
The more family members that can come, provided it's not a very contentious family relationship with trouble that families trying to, and this gets really common all the time, where families are trying to fight for like property and finances with the patients who are on the elderly side. That can become very traumatic.
Well, I could understand what you're saying, because we do have legal segments as well where we have lawyers in.
Yeah.
And we hear people that would call in and say, you know, especially when you have family members who are ailing or who are sick or who are compromised in situations, especially like this, in terms of memory loss and all of that.
We're certain people trying to take advantage of them.
Exactly.
So their most primary caretakers should come with them.
Okay, good.
They should have some sort of idea of like what their medical conditions are. We usually take a detailed history from the caregiver. We examine the patient. We usually issue some sort of memory testing.
Nice. Now, this goes out to all of the listeners and the viewers. When you go, it is important to take, perhaps I always say the important thing is have a diary with all the medication that you're taking, the times that you're taking it, and things like that. So you just hold that diary and you take it in for doc. So when he's asking what medications they're on or who they love, you know, things like that, it's right there. You don't have to be struggling to think.
It definitely helps us a lot. And
Right.
usually my assistant sends a message to patients beforehand.
Nice to bring all of those things.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So we could store it on our system up
Great.
front, so I can have an idea of
Nice.
what's going on.
Right.
Some memory, so not just memory, but thinking assessments, something called a cognitive assessment. That's issued to the patient so we can get a score of how good or how bad their thinking is. Then, usually we need to check for certain reversible causes of memory loss. For example, kidney trouble can cause memory issues in certain patients, or make underlying memory trouble worse.
Okay.
Thyroid disease, especially underactive thyroids. B12 deficiency, which is pretty uncommon, but they're still nonetheless. In this patient population, we always check for this disease called syphilis. So syphilis was common back in the past, but the patients who have memory trouble right now would be patients who may have had syphilis in the past. So we check for that to make sure there's no trouble there. We check some of their other blood tests, and we take a picture of their brain, either with a CT scan or an MRI, to rule out other things in the brain that could be causing memory trouble. For example, tumors, strokes, bleeding in the brain. Then we may or may not do a special type of electrical signaling test in the brain to see if there's anything called seizures. And if all those things kind of come back normal and the patient does have objective cognitive trouble that's affecting their daily lives, it's likely that this person is fitted with a diagnosis of dementia.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
What's
and
the
then,
next step?
Then comes explaining to the relatives what this means, how this impacts them as a family, how it impacts the patient, what to expect, especially if it's mild, moderate, or severe, based on the assessments from before, and then what treatment options are available. So, medication, certain types of non-medical therapies. For example, if they have diabetes, high blood pressure, if they're smoking, we try to address those to prevent the disease from getting worse. Exercise, because that improves blood flow to the brain and reduces the progression of the dementia. Certain types of memory exercises. One of the really big things I tell patients is that they need to keep socially active.
Socially active.
So they need to be in, we can't just lock them in a room and leave them by themselves. No, that is going to get them worse faster.
So you always get them involved in family activities, birthdays, anniversaries.
As much as possible.
Everybody come over for dinner, you have a dinner together, you watch a movie together. I like that you said you don't isolate them to a room and have them stay there.
No.
So you allow them to be part of the family and friends.
Because it helps them from progressing to worse, because this is a really interesting phenomenon that we noticed during COVID, where we had social isolation. We noticed many patients who've had memory trouble got significantly worse. And we noticed many patients who didn't have memory trouble before, or who were right at the cusp of potentially having a diagnosis of dementia, very rapidly progressed to that.
You know, I'm talking to you, I'm listening to you, I'm having this conversation, and I'm thinking more and more now about professionals, teachers, lawyers, doctors, judges. You know, I'm thinking broadcasters who
That is the
years
hardest,
invested in studying.
honing their craft to the best of their ability, then to be robbed of their ability
That's the right word.
to give back to their families, to their communities, to their societies,
Yeah.
and then to be robbed of their own, you know, their own twilight era,
Correct.
to live a nice, happy.
A nice, happy life. I want to talk a little bit about, can it be reversed? Or perhaps with early detection and treatment, can it, you know, not be as you know?
So, Alzheimer's itself can't be reversed right now.
Right now.
And if we're doing lots of, there's so much money in the world that's being spent on research, treatment in Alzheimer's, because in a couple of years, it's going to be the most common disease, because we have a rapidly aging population worldwide. China has so many, they have 1 billion plus people who are becoming older steadily, so they're spending a lot of money. America, the West is spending a lot of money on these people, because they need to take care of their elderly population.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're spending more money to try and identify it sooner, see what treatments we could start instituting earlier, so that one, we could prevent it from getting worse, or two, miraculously, hopefully, the holy grail is to stop this, give you an injection, give you some medication.
Yeah.
Don't let this happen.
Yeah, understood. 3847142 questions, concerns, comments, reminding you that our program today coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited, in conversation with Dr. Nicholas Maraj. Dr. Maraj specializes in internal medicine and vascular neurology. If you would like to get an appointment, you want to meet with Dr. Maraj, then you've got to send a WhatsApp message to 3679368. That's 3679368. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation. Of course, you're welcome to call in with your questions, your concerns, or send me WhatsApp messages. I'll read it to Doc. Let's go to these messages.
Have you been diagnosed with stroke, Parkinson's disease, dementia, or migraine headaches? Do you have weakness of your feet, hands, or face? Are you having trouble with your memory? Do you keep forgetting where you place your keys? Do your hands shake? Are your muscles stiff? Do you have bad headaches? Then the solution is Synapse Medical Services Limited. The consultant physician at Synapse Medical Services is a UK-trained specialist in internal medicine with Canadian training in general neurology and stroke neurology. To book an appointment now, WhatsApp 367-9368. That is 367-9368, and be on your way to a speedy recovery.
South Trinidad, here we come. Indian Style Expo is set to open on Friday 25th August until September 11th, located behind KFC Laramine. One show only. Get everything under one roof. Fashionable Indian garments, jewelry, footwear, home decor, bed covers, curtains, western garments, handbags, and so much more. Enjoy delicious Indian food with Tandoori King, live dosas, and so much more. We've got food from all parts of India. You can also check us out for furniture that you've never seen before in Trinidad. One place where you can get it all. We're guaranteed variety you've never seen before. Indian Style Expo, located behind KFC La Romaine, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're open on weekends and public holidays. Indian Style Expo, one place you must visit.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Hoover Car Park, Hoover, 98 Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trin-City. Super Quality Supermarket.
Passage to Asia, the award-winning restaurant and banquet suite located in the heart of Chaguanas, the best fusion food restaurant in Trinidad and Tobago. From the second you enter to the moment you leave, you will be treated like royalty. Come dine in luxury and enjoy the finest combination of Asian cuisine prepared by skilled and qualified chefs at Passage to Asia. The experience is truly unforgettable, perfect for families, couples, and large groups. Passage to Asia, located at St. Ives Street, Chaguanas. Contact 672-2701. Also, visit us on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. To all of our viewers on Synergy TV, all those of you on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, all of our listeners on U97 5 FM Multicultural Radio. Our program today coming to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited, and of course in conversation with Dr. Nicholas Maraj, Medical Director at Synapse Medical Services Limited, trained and certified not only in the UK but Canada as well, specializes in internal medicine and vascular neurology, speaking about Alzheimer's disease. Reminding you that you can call 3847-142, 3847-142, your questions, your concerns, your comments. You could also send WhatsApp messages and I will read it to Dr. Maraj. Welcome back, Doc.
Pleasure to be back.
So again, I know that we were getting a call earlier and I had to abort. Please feel free to call us now. Dr. Maraj, you can perhaps explain your situation or your concern and Dr. Maraj will respond. Good morning and welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, what's your question, please?
Yes, good morning, Zelisa. Good program.
Thank you.
I would like to find out from doctor what foods and vitamins you can take to help prevent this Alzheimer's disease.
That's a brilliant
also,
question.
Is ginkgo good to take for your brain? Will this help prevent you getting Alzheimer's and dementia?
Yeah. Thank you, darling. It's a brilliant question. Also, is it hereditary?
Okay.
Is it?
So the early onset forms of dementia are hereditary. So like that's the ones that happen when you're under 65, when patients have inherited genetic mutations that can increase their risk of having Alzheimer's. Those can be hereditary. In terms of foods and supplements, there's no particular set of foods that are known to be preventive of memory impairment. However, things like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol increases the risk of having dementia. So you want to try and stay away from foods that could cause those. And if you do have those things, prevent it from happening by preventing from getting worse.
Good.
Supplements like ginkgo and stuff, the studies have shown that they are not particularly useful in preventing these disorders, but patients usually want to hang on to some sort of hope.
Yeah.
So I tell them, listen, if it's not significantly affecting their finances, why not? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it.
Okay. 3847142. Doc, I work with a young man in his 20s and I see serious signs. Forgetfulness. You would say something, I mean, you have to write and you follow in a situation like that. And he would have said to me that, you know, he has a family history. Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning, welcome.
I want to ask you, doctor.
Sure.
At what age you could get dementia, Alzheimer's?
Okay, Doc. We would have touched on it,
more
but go
common
ahead.
when you're above 65, but any patients can have it as early as in their 40s, depending if they have the right genetic mix of it. It's uncommon, so it could just be something, so it could just be simple, for want of a better term, absent-mindedness in terms of memory, but it does not necessarily need to mean dementia.
Yeah.
But they should get it evaluated if they think it's something to be
I would say
concerned about.
that as well. Good morning and welcome. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
We're not hearing. Hello. All right, I can't. Morning. Good morning and welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
I think we lost that one.
I think we lost, yeah. Good morning. Okay. 3847142, 3847142. Please feel free to call. Just take the volume down on your radio, down on your television set. 3847142 to speak to Dr. Maraj. Questions, concerns, comments. As I was saying with that young man, and I find him to be very young, but always very forgetful. You know. Good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, can a traumatic experience and also strong medications you probably have been on for some major conditions in previous times be linked to Alzheimer's in any way? Thank you.
Thank you as well. It's a very good question, Doc.
So kind of traumatic experience. So traumatic experiences can cause cognitive change in certain types of patients. Whether it could spring up and cause dementia ideally by itself, I mean that the studies aren't definitively yes in terms of that. The person asks for strong medications, certain types of medications, for example, patients who've been on mental health medications can have trouble with their memory from another cause.
A bad fall. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'd like to speak to the Zelisa and the doctor.
This is Zelisa. Welcome. Go right ahead and ask your question, sir.
All right, let me roll down my teeth.
You know, you were supposed to do that before. Go ahead. Ask your
Good
question.
morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
What's the doctor's name?
Dr. Maraj, Dr. Nicholas Maraj.
All right, Dr. Nicholas Maraj. All right. I'm from San Fernando.
Yes.
Right? My name is Anthony Smith. I spoke to you on several times already, Zelisa.
Yes.
And
loyal viewer.
I was the guy who was in the program and told you I had a stroke and got COVID and so on.
Right.
I'm 72, I've recovered fully.
Right. What's your question to Doc, please, sir?
Okay, Doc. One, what do you know about vagus nerve? That's one. Two, I came across, I was given a medication.
Don't call the name of the medication. No. I've said it before. Please don't call the name of any medication. My humble suggestion is you send a WhatsApp to 367-9368 to talk about medication. I can't discuss it on the program, all right? I don't want to be liable.
Right.
Thanks for understanding.
Yes.
Right.
But what do you know about a vagus nerve being able to help your body organs?
All right. So he'll answer that, sir. Thank you. Have a great day and God bless.
Yes.
Please, sir. Please, Doc.
The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve that comes out of the base of the spine and supplies most of your internal organs with stimulation from there's your fight and flight response, there's sympathetic nervous system, and there's your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest part of your automatic nervous system. Your vagus nerve interacts with a lot of your internal organs to stimulate the rest and digest part of your automatic nervous system.
Okay, thank you so much. And I want to please ask our listeners and our viewers, when you're calling, stick to the topic. Good morning, I am 69 years old, male. I have trembling hands and my shoulders. From my shoulders to my fingers. It started in October 2021. What can it be? Thank you very much.
Trembling hands. So it sounds like a hyperkinetic movement disorder, which could be a tremor. And so like when we spoke last week, tremors could be very benign and exacerbation of their normal body tremor. Could be due to medical conditions like thyroid disease, over caffeine, things like Parkinson's.
Okay, so to that gentleman, 69 years old, my humble suggestion, please go and get some help. You know,
send us a WhatsApp
message. Clear your mind. Send out that WhatsApp message. Exactly. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning to both there.
Morning.
I would like to find out from that whether having a ringing in the air could bring on Alzheimer's disease, because I do suffer with a ringing in the air for years now, since 2014. And it's getting worse. The ringing is more loud each time. And I don't know if that is causing a slight memory disorder with me.
Right.
I kind of forgetting. You know, not very close, like what I saw this morning, I would not remember, like now or later on today.
Okay, so
if I saw something on the TV and I'm trying to remember the name, I would not remember the name. So can you tell me?
Sure, Doc will respond, but before Doc respond, I would like to say something, and that is, this is since 2014. We are in 2023.
Yes, but what happened? I went to see a specialist.
Yes. So my
specialist told me that I have to live with it.
Oh.
It's called tinnitus, and it's a very complicated medical condition. You should definitely go and see an ENT person. But for the memory trouble, you should come and see us.
Yeah, for that memory, you realize now that you identify. So my suggestion is, please, let me give you the number again. WhatsApp 367-9368. That's 367-9368. All right. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Zelisa.
Morning.
Hi.
And good morning to the doctor.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask 2 questions, and I'm asking it for other people who might have gone through this.
Right, so you need to ask it quickly because I have 2 minutes to wrap up the show.
Right,
please.
Okay. Someone who has been on chemotherapy, but not anymore, can that interfere with your memory? That's one. And then you have people who might be going to the fridge or something for something and they forgot what it is and then suddenly it comes. What is that the beginning of dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever it is?
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear.
Thank you, darling. God bless. Have a great day. Doc, so we've got 1 minute to wrap.
So number 2, that's common. That could be simple, poor attention span, absent-mindedness. If it's becoming worse with time and they're having some of the red flag signs that we spoke of earlier, that's definitely something to be worried about. In terms of chemotherapeutics, it depends on the chemotherapeutics that the person was involved in. Those can damage your nerves, definitely, and it depends on if the patient has had like brain radiation also, or those types of things. That can increase your risk.
The questions are still coming fast and furious, but I've got to wrap up. Please address your questions and concerns, whatever questions you may have or concerns. Please address it now to 367-9368. 367-9368.
Send a WhatsApp message.
Send those WhatsApp messages right now to that number. And of course, if you want to meet with Doc for an appointment. Doc, let me thank you kindly. Wish you all of God's blessings.
Thank you.
And we look forward to you joining us next week with another brilliant topic. All the
Always
best.
a pleasure. Thank you, Zelisa.
You're welcome, Doc. And of course, reminding you, our program came to us with the kind compliments of Synapse Medical Services Limited. Please send your WhatsApp messages for an appointment or questions or concerns. 367-9368, 367-9368. Thank you kindly for choosing us. Reminding you, we have a repeat of the program today on Synergy TV at 3 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell your family members on radio. Share the link so that everyone can be informed. Here's reminding you that with God, all things are possible. I thank you kindly for choosing us. Be safe, be happy, be kind, be courteous, keep smiling and be positive. I am Zelisa Budising Rupani. Thanks for choosing us.